Sanford and Son stood as a massive success for NBC during the 1970s and served as show creator Norman Lear's reply to his other hit production, All in the Family. Both shows revolved around a cantankerous patriarch whose prejudiced views often clashed with their more forward-thinking children, highlighting the generation gap between baby boomers and their more conventional parents. The sitcom centered on Fred Sanford, Red Fox, and his son Lamont, Demon Wilson, proprietors of a junkyard in the Watts neighborhood of Los Angeles. Sanford and Son laid the groundwork for numerous series featuring predominantly black casts that emerged in the wake of its triumph. Ted Bergman, a scriptwriter for Sanford and Son, asserted that the sitcom was revolutionary because it initiated a trend toward more realism in television. It addressed topics that hadn't been broached before via Emmy magazine. However, black writer and critic Eugenia Collier offered a differing opinion in an article for the New York Times, branding the series as white to the core, while contending that it perpetuated damaging racial stereotypes. Now, let's catch up with our favorite actors and see how life's treating them after the show wrapped up. 1. Don Bexley as Bubba Bexley. Don Bexley is renowned for portraying Bubba Bexley, mirroring the genuine camaraderie he shared with Red Fox. Although their Sanford and Son characters may have been close in age, the real-life pair had a 12-year age gap, with Bexley being the older of the two. Born on March 10, 1910, in Jamestown, Virginia, Bexley hailed from a family where his father was a biblical scholar and his mother was a classical violinist. Red Fox and Slappy White encountered Don Bexley while touring the black theaters and nightclubs of New York City, quickly forming a deep friendship. While Slappy White counted Dean Martin among his friends, Don Bexley was not only friends with Red Fox, but also the former dancing partner of Sammy Davis Jr. Don Bexley made history as the first black stand-up comedian to grace the stage at the Mountain Hotel. His early career included engagements in theater both in New York City and Los Angeles. Following Sanford and Son, Bexley extended his appearances to the spin-off show Sanford Arms and featured in other popular series like Cheers, Hunter, True Colors, and T.J. Hooker. Similar to White, Bexley assumed the role of Elston in Red Fox's final show, The Royal Family. Early success afforded Bexley the opportunity to travel the world, exploring various destinations across Europe and Asia. Red Fox summoned Don Bexley back to the United States for the filming of their movie Cotton Comes to Harlem in 1969. In 1971, Fox called him back again from his travels around Asia to join Sanford and Son. In 1991, Bexley served as one of the honorary pallbearers for Red Fox's casket, before succumbing to heart and kidney failure in 1995. 2. Demon Wilson as Lamont Sanford. Demon Wilson portrays Lamont Sanford, Fred's son, who harbors limited tolerance for his father's antics. Lamont occasionally faces the consequences of disapproving of his father's habits. At times, he appears as gullible and imprudent, such as falling victim to card sharps and being duped in a scam involving an antique commode. Lamont consistently aspires to elevate himself beyond his current circumstances and explore life beyond the junkyard. Born on October 13, 1946, Demon Wilson, the actor behind Lamont Sanford, is presently 75 years old. Prior to his stint on the 1970s sitcom, Wilson served in the United States Army from 1966 to 1968 as a member of the 4th Infantry. Post his tenure on Sanford and Son, Wilson dedicated his life to ministering to former prisoners and achieved ministerial status by 1984. Subsequently, he founded the Restoration House of America, an organization that provided vocational training and spiritual guidance to former inmates. 3. Red Fox as Fred G. Sanford. John Elroy Sanford, born in St. Louis on December 9, 1922, relocated to Chicago at the age of 13. By the time he was 16, he moved to Harlem, where he formed a friendship with the individual who would later become Malcolm X during their collaborative work. In Harlem, he initiated his comedy performances in black venues and on the Chitlin circuit, adopting the stage moniker Red Fox. During the 1950s, Fox made a transition to Los Angeles and produced risque party records. In the 1960s, he achieved mainstream success with stand-up performances in Las Vegas. While renowned for his portrayal of Fred Sanford on the popular show Sanford and Son, Fox is widely recognized as a pioneering figure in stand-up comedy. In an interview, he remarked, "No one expected me to be on television because I had a reputation from the party records as X-rated, but that's the type of humor I liked." Fox, sadly, passed away from a heart attack at the age of 68 in 1991 during rehearsals for his CBS series, The Royal Family. Slappy White conveyed to the New York Times, "The comedy world is going to miss him. He broke a lot of barriers." Friends fondly recall Fox for his generosity, as Ruth Brown shared with NYT, "Red would do anything for a friend." Unfortunately, this generosity, coupled with his extravagant lifestyle, led to Fox filing for bankruptcy and experiencing property seizures by the IRS. 4. Leanda Paige as Aunt Esther Anderson. Paige's significant breakthrough occurred when Fox facilitated Paige's audition for the character of Aunt Esther on Sanford and Son. She captivated the audience, portraying Fred's quick-witted, scripture-quoting sister-in-law. Paige reprised the role in the short-lived spin-offs Sanford Arms and Sanford, and she sustained her acting career beyond her tenure as Aunt Esther. Throughout her professional journey, Paige staunchly advocated for equitable compensation for black performers. She departed in 2002 at the age of 81 due to complications arising from diabetes. Leanda Paige entered the world in Cleveland, Ohio on October 19, 1920, but her upbringing took place in St. Louis, where she shared childhood camaraderie with Red Fox. Embarking on her artistic journey in her teenage years, Paige delved into dancing and showcased a fire dancing act on the Chitlin circuit, earning her the moniker the Bronze Goddess of Fire. Making a shift from dancing to comedy in the 1960s, Paige relocated to LA and became part of the comedy ensemble Skillet, Leroy & Co. 5. Whitman Mayo as Grady Wilson. Mayo frequently found himself cast in roles that depicted characters much older than his actual age, such as his portrayal of Grady Wilson in Sanford and Son. Rather than letting this circumstance trouble him, he embraced the opportunity to establish a career centered on intimidating older individuals. Throughout his professional journey, he swiftly forged friendships with Red Fox and the legendary actress Marla Gibbs. Whitman Mayo, a native of New York, spent his formative years in Queens and Harlem before relocating to California with his family at the age of 17. During his stay in Los Angeles, he enrolled at the University of California. Commencing his career, he ventured into teaching at Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia, where he remained until his passing in May of 2001. Mayo had been grappling with a hernia and undergoing medical treatment for 2 months when he experienced a severe heart attack at the age of 70. 6. Nathaniel Taylor as Rollo Larson. Nathaniel Taylor entered the world on March 31, 1938, and shared his hometown of St. Louis with Red Fox. Prior to his role as Lamont's close companion, Rollo in Sanford and Son, Taylor pursued a career as an electrician. He graced the screen in 32 episodes of the acclaimed series and revisited his character in the short-lived spin-off Sanford. Taylor's acting journey extended to other shows like What's Happening and 227, as well as notable blaxploitation films such as Willie Dynamite and Trouble Man. Later in life, Taylor established a performing arts studio in Los Angeles, where he shared his knowledge of acting. In 2019, he passed away at the Ronald Reagan Medical Center in Los Angeles due to a heart attack, marking his exit from the world at the age of 80. Taylor's son, Cady, expressed his father's pride in being recognized as Rollo, stating, "It was a time and an era. Just to be on TV as a black man. It was an honor for people to remember him." Alonzo Lonzo. Williams, a music promoter and friend of Taylor, reflected on the actor's legacy, stating, "He was always there with a wise word and a kind word and a joke to put a little icing on it." 7. Lynn Hamilton as Donna Harris. Donna Harris stands as Fred's on-and-off romantic partner, eventually evolving into his fiancée. Employed as a practical nurse, Donna emanates an amiable and even-tempered demeanor, gracefully weathering Fred's mischievous antics and occasional attempts. In contrast to Fred's blunt and boorish personality, she exudes a more sophisticated aura. Hamilton embarked on her career in community theater in Chicago and marked her Broadway debut in Only in America in 1959. Her presence graced 3 additional Broadway productions, numerous off-Broadway plays, and included a 3-year stint with the New York Shakespeare Festival. For 49 years, Hamilton shared her life with poet and playwright Frank Jenkins, from November 1964 until his passing in August 2014. Interestingly, Leanda Paige, Hamilton's co-star on Sanford and Son, had a younger sister coincidentally named Lynn Hamilton, sparking rumors of their sibling connection. However, series lead Demond Wilson dispelled the rumor in 2016, confirming its falsity. 8. Hal Williams as Officer Smitty Smith, portraying the recurring character. Officer Smith, commonly known as Smitty on the series, Hal Williams has been alive since December 14, 1938, and now stands at the age of 85. Williams remains an incredibly active actor, further diversifying his career by venturing into voice acting for video games like Disintegration. Hal Williams contributed to Denzel Washington's film Flight and has made appearances across various television shows, including Parks and Recreation, The Sinbad Show, and even Tales from the Crypt. Despite maintaining a hectic work schedule, Hal consistently allocates time to host charitable events for the Sickle Cell Anemia Foundation. Williams entered the bonds of matrimony twice and is a proud parent of 3 children. On April 11, 1975, he exchanged vows with Gay Anderson, but their marital journey concluded with a divorce in November 1976. 9. Gregory Sierra as Julio Fuentes. Gregory Sierra came into the world on January 25, 1937, and was nurtured by his aunt in Spanish Harlem. Following his tenure in the Air Force, Sierra joined an acting school after accompanying a friend to an audition, leading to an unexpected invitation to join. Commencing his acting journey on the New York stage, he became part of the National Shakespeare Company before relocating to Los Angeles in the 60s to explore screen acting. Renowned for his role as Detective Sergeant Miguel Chano Amenguale in Barney Miller, Sierra left a lasting impression as Julio Fuentes, Fred Sanford's Puerto Rican neighbor and rival in Sanford and Son. Reflecting on his portrayal, Sierra shared with the Morning Record, "I used him not only as a model, but the namesake of the character I played on Sanford and Son." While being part of the original cast of Miami Vice, Sierra departed from the series, and his character met an unfortunate end. His wife revealed to the New York Times that he left due to his dislike for Miami and some of his colleagues, sacrificing much in the process. Sierra sustained a prolific career in films and television throughout the 70s, 80s, and 90s. His journey concluded in 2021 when he succumbed to cancer at the age of 83. 10. Fritzy Burr as Woman on Plane. Fritzy Burr hailed from Philadelphia and embarked on her acting journey in the realm of theater. She graced the vaudeville comedy scene alongside Smith and Dale, taking on the role of the nurse in their renowned sketch, Dr. Cronkite. Transitioning to Broadway musicals in the 1950s, Burr showcased her talent in productions like I Can Get It For You Wholesale and Funny Girl, where she shared the stage with a young Barbra Streisand. Her involvement in local theater included various roles in the enduring Fiddler on the Roof. Upon her relocation to Hollywood, Burr carved out a niche as a character actress in a plethora of films and TV series, including a notable stint with 10 episodes on Sanford and Son, portraying diverse characters. Spanning an impressive 7 decades, her career featured a memorable role alongside Jack Nicholson in Chinatown, portraying a resilient secretary. In the 90s, she graced popular shows such as Friends and Seinfeld. And beyond the glitz of Hollywood, Burr dedicated her time to volunteer work in hospitals, initially in California and later in Florida. Hollywood connections ran in her family, with Saul Turteltaub, her brother-in-law and a producer on Sanford and Son, and familial ties to producer-director John Turteltaub as her nephew. Burr's journey concluded due to natural causes in Fort Myers, Florida, on January 17, 2003. 11. Raymond Allen as Uncle Woodrow, Woody Anderson. Raymond Allen entered the world as the youngest among 12 siblings in Kansas City, Missouri, on March 5, 1929. He portrayed Woody, Aunt Esther's spouse, in Sanford and Son, leaving an indelible mark. Additionally, he is fondly remembered for his recurring roles as Ned the Winnow on Good Times and Merle the Earl in Starsky and Hutch. Allen revisited the character of Woody in Sanford Arms and made notable guest appearances on series like The Love Boat, The Jeffersons, and What's Happening? Health challenges led Allen to retire from acting in the 80s, and from 2016 onward, he resided in a care facility due to frequent battles with pneumonia. At the age of 91, he passed away in 2020, succumbing to a respiratory illness unrelated to COVID-19. His daughter, Terrence Allen, shared the news on Facebook. Just wanted to let the Allen family and friends know that Dad received his wing 2 hours ago. His warm, kind heart and clever sayings will be missed. His laughter will ring in heaven. Rest in heavenly peace, Raymond Allen, the last of 12 siblings. 12. Pat Morita as Achu. Noriyuki. Pat Morita, born in Northern California on June 28, 1932, spent much of his early years in a hospital, battling spinal tuberculosis since the age of 2. Following his recovery, he and his family were relocated to an internment camp during WWE. Post-war, they ran a Chinese restaurant in Sacramento, where Morita discovered his passion for stand-up comedy. Recognizing the challenges of a stand-up career, Morita initially pursued work as a data processor with the Department of Motor Vehicles and Aerojet General Corp. His entry into the entertainment industry came at the age of 30. While Mr. Miyagi in the Karate Kid franchise remains his iconic role, Morita's versatile career included stand-up comedy and production work with Red Fox. This association led to Morita's recurring character in Sanford and Son as Lamont's friend Achu, a cringe-worthy role. Morita also joined Fox's variety show on tour, performing at prestigious venues like Carnegie Hall and the Apollo Theater. Following his stint on Sanford and Son, Morita gained prominence as Arnold on Happy Days. He briefly made history as the first Japanese-American lead actor in broadcast television with the spin-off Mr. T and Tina. Morita passed away in Las Vegas on November 24, 2005, at the age of 73. Ralph Macchio paid tribute, saying, "Morita was a truly generous actor, a gifted comic, and an even greater friend. My life is all the richer for having known him. I will miss his genuine friendship." 13. Noam Pitlick as Officer Swanee. Swanhauser. Noam Pitlick initiated his journey into acting while in college in Philadelphia, taking the lead in the series Action in the Afternoon. Later, he secured a role in the off-Broadway production of the Three Penny Opera in New York, transitioning into a character actor on Los Angeles television during the 60s. Despite gaining fame as a television director and earning awards such as an Emmy Peabody Award and DGA Award for his directorial accomplishments, Pitlick had an active on-screen acting career before making his mark as a director. Having appeared in numerous films and various television series like Hogan's Heroes, Bewitched, and I Dream of Jeannie, Pitlick found a recurring role in Sanford & Son as Officer Swanee Swanhauser. He directed over 100 episodes of Barney Miller and approximately 100 more episodes across different shows in his career. If you tuned into broadcast television in the 70s or 80s, chances are you encountered Pitlick's directorial work. He succumbed to lung cancer in 1999 at the age of 66. 14. Marlene Clark as Janet Lawson. Marlene Clark entered the world in Harlem on December 19, 1937, cultivating her passion for acting during her college years. With her then-husband, Billy D. Williams, she relocated to Los Angeles, initially making her mark as a model before venturing into film and television. Reflecting on her career, Clark remarked, "Most of the movies I starred in didn't come out when they were supposed to, or never came out at all," expressing the challenges of missing out on potential publicity for future opportunities. Among her diverse roles, Clark achieved recognition for her performance in the cult horror film Ganja and Hess, portraying a widow transformed into a vampire. She also graced the screen with legendary actor Sidney Poitier in her feature film debut, For Love of Ivy. Perhaps most notably, she is remembered as Janet Lawson, Lamont's fiancée, in 6 episodes of Sanford and Son. In the 80s, Clark decided to step away from acting, later establishing her own boutique on Melrose in LA before transitioning into the management of a restaurant in Venice Beach. Clark's journey concluded on May 18, 2023, at the age of 85. Her friend Tamara Lynch conveyed the news of Clark's passing with the sentiment, "She leaves behind friends and family that will forever be grateful for her grace, love, and beautiful heart." Marlene was one of our finest examples of Black beauty. 15. Slappy White as Melvin. Melvin Slappy. White made his entrance into the world in Baltimore, Maryland on September 27, 1921. Showing an early inclination for entertainment, he danced for spare change outside the Royal Theater during his formative years. Departing from home at the age of 13, he embarked on a career as a dancer. Upon discovering stand-up comedy, White traversed the Chitlin circuit, where he crossed paths with Red Fox, sparking the beginning of their collaborative performances. Following the tradition of his peers, White initiated his stand-up act in predominantly black nightclubs, but transitioned into the mainstream, gracing stages in Las Vegas. His comedy journey saw him sharing performances with luminaries such as Dean Martin, Billy Crystal, and the iconic Moms Mabley. In contrast to his ribald companion, Fox, White carved a niche for himself by maintaining a clean stand-up act throughout his career. Much like other actors featured on Sanford and Son, White secured his recurring role on the series through his association with Fox, showcasing Fox's desire to share his success with friends. White portrayed Melvin in 5 episodes of Sanford and Son, leaving an indelible mark as a stand-up comedian. His final bow came in 1995 when he succumbed to a heart attack at his New Jersey residence. He was 73. 16. Nancy Culp as May Hopkins. Nancy Culp originated from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and earned her degree from Florida State University, which was then recognized as Florida State College for Women. She pursued a career in journalism in Florida before relocating to Los Angeles to engage in publicity. As reported by the Los Angeles Times, Culp once expressed, "My first love has always been journalism." Transitioning from publicity work, she was persuaded to explore acting, marking the beginning of a lengthy journey in films and television. Culp is most renowned for her portrayal of Jethro's secretary, Jane Hathaway, in The Beverly Hillbillies. And she also took on the role of May Hopkins in 5 episodes of Sanford and Son. Following her tenure on Beverly Hillbillies, she graced the Broadway stage and continued with guest appearances on a prolific array of television series spanning the 70s and the 80s. In 1984, Culp entered the political arena, running for Congress in her native Pennsylvania. She voiced her perspective to the New York Times, stating, "I think a man in office for 12 years should be opposed, and the people make a choice. I think he should be asked to answer for his voting record." Unfortunately, her bid for Congress ended in defeat when her Beverly Hillbillies colleague Buddy Ebsen publicly opposed her liberal stance on issues. Culp succumbed to cancer in Palm Springs in 1991 at the age of 69. Thank you for joining us on this nostalgic journey through the lives of the incredible cast members of Sanford and Son from 1972. We've revisited the laughter, the memorable characters, and the remarkable talent that brought this iconic show to life. It's truly heartwarming to see how these actors have left a lasting impact on television and popular culture. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And for more fascinating glimpses into the lives of beloved TV stars, stay tuned for our next installment. Until then, take care and remember to keep the laughter alive.